Yo, this is a dangerous fight for Terence Bud Crawford. Israil Madrimov. Ego Weight Watchers, aka EW, where I give you a look into the fighter lifestyle before, after, and progress picks, especially when they have an upcoming fight. Now, Israil Madrimov has posted some things. He's being drug tested as we speak. I think he said he had 5 drug tests from VADA as he gears up for the August fight with Terence Bud Crawford. Now, one thing that I noticed is Madrimov, he looks pretty big for 154 pounds. I want you guys to go back and watch the clip at the beginning and that you're seeing throughout this video and let me know what you guys think. But just looking at him, he looks, when he was face to face with Terence Crawford, he looked about the same height, maybe a half inch taller than Terence Crawford, but the heights were pretty close. But in terms of like the thickness, and he's more stout, he's just more like built like Terence Crawford. Keep in mind, this is why I think it's a dangerous fight, because 1, Madrimov is a champion, and 2, he's been fighting his career at 154 pounds, and he's shown power in this weight class. But when you're new, despite Terence Crawford being a great fighter, even despite that fact, Terence Crawford has no accolades in this new division. And you guys know what I say on my channel: when a fighter moves up, most of the time the reset button is set. I've seen guys and fighters where they were the man in said division, but then they move up, and in the higher division, they don't look like quite the same fighter, and or don't have the same success that they had in the previous division. For example, we've seen this even with Teofimo Lopez. I'll use him as an example of a recent fighter. Teofimo Lopez at 135, it looked like a lot of the guys had more of a issue dealing with Teofimo's power. But you move up north 5 pounds, and these guys are bigger, stronger, and just a bit more durable with more resilience. So even a 5-pound jump is clearly a different weight category. And Teofimo's power, he still has some power, but it is not nearly as explosive and impactful as it previously was when he was at lightweight, 135 pounds. And we've seen this with other fighters like Danny Garcia. I think his power looked better at 140 as opposed to 147. Not saying he couldn't hurt you if he catches you with a shot, but it just overall looked a bit better. And he really was hurting guys like Zab Judah, Namir Khan, and Lucas Matisse at 140 pounds. So same goes with Terence Crawford. I think a lot of people have a recency bias when it comes to boxing at large, where what has happened recently, that's what's on their mind, and they judge everything accordingly. No doubt Crawford is a good fighter. I probably will be the first or one of the only few people of my channel size or around my channel size that is saying this, but I think this is a difficult fight for Terence Crawford. Another thing that makes it difficult is Terence Crawford, he was going to try to fight Fundora Tim Tszyu winner. I already told you that wasn't going to happen. You guys said that I was tripping, and Terence Crawford being the super champion at 147 pounds, the WBO was going to make him fight, yada, yada, yada. Long story short, your boy Ego was correct. Terence Crawford was forced to reroute because he's not with PBC. He only did the one fight with PBC. And then he, it doesn't look like he wants to do business with them, or at least at this point. So he found another solution. But in doing so, he found kind of a solution that is more dangerous in this very regard. And I'm going to explain what. In the regard of Israil Madrimov, he's not a known commodity. He's not really known. He hasn't been branded. So anytime it's a fight like this, and you guys know I'm the king of consistency, anytime there's a fight like this, I feel like the onus and the pressure is more so on the A-side guy with the bigger name, because the boxing fans, even hardcore fans, may not have watched Israil Madrimov fights. And I'm just being real with you. There's a lot of people that they watch Tank, they watch, let's say, Ryan Garcia and Deontay Wilder, AJ, they watch those types of fights, but at the same time, they don't know some of the smaller fights, because Israil Madrimov, he's not like a main event type of guy. And he also had some spells of inactivity, if I'm not mistaken. So even Israil Madrimov getting the title, which he just, like, for example, and you guys be 100% honest, do not lie. Did you know that Israil Madrimov fought this year in 2024? That's when he became the champion. Did you know that Israil Madrimov fought in March and became a champion in March? And if so, did you watch the fight in real time? Those are the questions. Let me know your answer in the comment section. So if the man just became a champion at 54, because Jermell Charlo went up and fought Canelo, he was undisputed, so all his belts pretty much got dispersed. A lot of people didn't even watch the fight in which Israil Madrimov became a champion, which was earlier this year. So they're billing it as like a title fight. It is a title fight, but I think the record needs to show, and there's a lot of people who didn't watch it, so they don't know that he's a brand new champion, right? He literally just fought. So he's not a big name, he's not a known name, but he carries danger. Again, look at this video that I put together and you can see his size. So he has size, power. He looks like he has some pretty good, decent speed. He looks like Gennady Golovkin to me.
Hell no, guys. Hey, Max, his guys is nothing. His punch is nothing. Tick, 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 nah.
Right? He resembles, I don't know, I've always felt that about him. But he resembles Golovkin also in terms of his frame. Like, he kind of has like a Golovkin, like, stocky, kind of big forearm, you know what I mean, type of dude. So this could be a challenging fight for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, a lot of people, he's the one that's on people's pound for pound top 3, pound for pound top 1. He's the bigger name. He's the guy with the pressure. And he's the guy with the expectations. Israil Madrimov isn't. But I'm telling you, he's a big, strong dude. He's kind of sneaky. He has some footwork. He's kind of like a baby Golovkin. And like I said throughout this video, he's a guy that doesn't, outside of him being a champion, he doesn't represent, like, he's just not a known commodity. It's like when Teofimo fought Steve Claggett, there was more for Claggett to gain than Teofimo, because people may know Teofimo and he's fighting some random, you know. And I get it that Madrimov is a champion, but I've already stated Madrimov just became a champion, right? So audiences aren't really familiar with him. I've watched him. I've watched many of his fights and I know exactly how he fights. So this, I think, is going to be a good fight, and it could be a fight that surprises some people, given the fact that they just don't know enough about Madrimov. And we know today's boxing fans, they look at it like they overrate certain guys because they know about them. And then the guys that they never heard of, they just assume that they're here to lay down. And I don't think that. I don't think that's the case at all. And then I've also been a bit skeptical of Terence Crawford's overall resume. And people are like, oh, he has all knockouts at welterweight. If he can knock out Madrimov, I would really be impressed with that. Because I don't know that win, lose, or draw, I don't know that Terence Crawford continues that knockout streak, because Madrimov he's a pretty put together fighter. He's young. And like, when has Crawford knocked out somebody that was this big, this good, a champion, you know, had amateur experience, you know what I mean? Things like that. I don't know. Even the Errol Spence fight. The Errol Spence fight, he won. It was a TKO, but Errol Spence is still standing. Crawford's moving up to another weight class and gonna try this. So it's a bit different. Plus, I think Errol had something that was up in his camp whether he had stayed at the weight too long or whatever. That's just my personal opinion. You guys can say whatever you want. But all in all, it should be a good fight. I'm definitely checking for this fight. It's a good card. Let me know what you guys think of Madrimov. Ego Weight Watchers.